In the Philippines, power is not static. Families can win and lose it all, only to make a comeback. The island nation will go to the polls on May the 9th. Election fever is now gripping the Philippines as the country's dynasties tighten their grip on power. Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is on the verge of clinching the ultimate dynastic victory. Winning the presidency, the 64-year-old is the son of former Philippine dictator Ferdinand Marcos. Currently, he's leading with 56% of people supporting him. If Marcos wins the elections, he will not be the only Marcos currently in power, and he will almost certainly not be the last. Vice President Robredo is a close second, with 24% people backing him.
There was also that provision in the Constitution that bans political dynasty, explicitly bans political dynasty. But the Constitution left it to Congress to pass the enabling law for this ban on political dynasty. Now, can you imagine, and that law has not been passed for the more than 3 decades since the Constitution has been passed, because for the simple reason that you cannot expect a house full of dynasties to pass an anti-dynasty legislation. It's like asking Dracula to guard the blood bank.
Marcos currently has the support of the country's most powerful families. Elite families have long ruled the Philippines. They held on to positions of power for generations, all by dishing out favors, buying votes, or resorting to violence. Marcos Jr. has entered into an alliance with 3 other powerful political families: the Arroyos, the Estradas, and the Duterte'S. Marcos Jr.'s running mate is Sara Duterte Carpio, the daughter of the incumbent President Rodrigo Duterte. If they win, both the families could control the executive and legislative branches. The archipelago has produced about 319 dynastic families. They date back to when the country was a U.S. colony. Dozens have withered since then, but in 2019, members of at least 234 such families won positions in the midterm elections. They have flourished in a feudal and corrupt democracy where parties are weak. They are fragmented along clans and plagued by defections. The system has become more and more pervasive in the decades. Since a popular uprising deposed Marcos, they returned to their traditional stronghold and started tapping in loyalties. Marcos Jr.'s return to power is an example of the family's ambition. It comes as new dynasties have entrenched themselves into politics, stunting economic development and worsening inequality in the archipelago.
I don't agree and disagree. This is just simply the way it is. I mean, this is like medieval Europe. I mean, this is how politics is here. You know, family is paramount. This is a culture where family is paramount. And so you have political dynasties throughout the country.
The Philippines set to choose Duterte's successor. From president to the town councilor, over 18,000 posts up for grabs. Son of former dictator Ferdinand Marcos leads race. Opinion polls call Marcos Jr. the front-runner. Vice President Robredo leads campaign against Marcos Jr. Will the Philippines witness a pink revolution? Corruption and pandemic-hit economy remain key issues. May 9th, the Philippines presidential polls. Detailed coverage only on WION.
WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.